Hello, 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 and welcome to yet another TRC podcast. I'm your host, Dane, and to my right, Levi Gates.
Hey, Dane, what's up?
Hey, and to my left, Anthony Fisher.
Thanks for having me, Dane. Glad to be here.
Absolutely. So, it's another podcast day. It's another podcast dollar. And speaking of dollars, yes, super thanks, the button. I activated all that, so before anybody says anything, they work now. Apart from that, make sure you click like on this video. We appreciate that. And housekeeping. What's going on, guys? Before we get into our fun weekends.
Well,
stuff.
Dane,
what's up?
I mean, so we do have a holiday coming up here.
Okay.
In the next week, right? And I think it's going to be pretty exciting, right? We've done some pretty fun media things, pulling in other members of the rag company to do a little bit of acting.
Let's just say Next Day Nate brought back in full force.
Next Day Nate, yeah. Well, some might call him Nasty Nate after they see this.
Yeah.
Along with Aaron, which a side of Aaron,
Aaron
in customer service that you've never seen before, which we're really excited about. So, so we have that coming up here within the next week. So that'll be really fun. And I just can't believe that it's already July. Basically,
I know, right?
Where does the freaking
June
time go?
It is nuts.
It felt weird because, I want to say that March and April, it felt like really slow months around here in Boise, mainly because the weather, we were like, hey, when's the weather going to get nice? When's the weather going to get nice? And then we got May and it was still like, when's the weather going to get nice?
It was
and
just
June
thunderstorms
hit,
over and over.
And now we're like, all right, June's gone, over, fast.
But now we're heading straight into the triple-digit days.
Yeah.
Full steam ahead
Super fun.
into that mess.
Super fun.
Yeah,
Not excited about that. Don't like that.
Yeah, it's been different, but other than that, here at the Rag Company, we do. We do have some things coming out, more videos, and obviously more tutorials, educational things, FAQs, and stuff like that we've been filming for the Rag Company YouTube channel.
Of course,
we have a couple fun videos coming out on some PPF removal in the future, where you guys get to see me suffer for hours and hours on end. That I think you guys will. I think you guys will enjoy that one. Just because
I enjoyed watching you suffer.
It's pure. It's pure pain. Really, is what that is. But outside of that, though, we're pretty much going to get through the beginning of July, and before you know it, we're going to be on the road. And Dane and I and Jimmy and Josh Petro are going to be heading to the UK. And we're going to be heading to Waxstock, which we're really excited about as well. So
you what, mate?
Yep. It's gonna be a good time. But outside of that though, we've just been busy. Yeah, we're just trying to keep up. We had a sale that ended, and it was a really successful sale. Everything was great there. Father's Day sale was amazing. Memorial Day was great. Father's Day, 4th of July.
Yeah. So we're trying to give the team a little break, a little bit, not much, but a little bit. So they are hopefully able to get all those orders out right before this next sale starts up. And if you're not signed up for the newsletter, you need to, so that you know exactly when that sale drops. So make sure you head on over to theragcompany.com and sign up. It's right at the bottom of the screen.
That's all you got to do.
Bottom of the page, or
not this screen,
or it'll pop up
website
if it's your first time visiting.
Yeah,
that's how it goes. So we were talking before the show, about creamer.
Yeah.
So my Keurig broke.
Jump into your weekend.
I'm just gonna say that. This
is a standalone.
This is a standalone story.
Conversation. Okay.
It's part of my weekend,
but it's a la carte story.
It's a standalone. So I was talking about how I got a new coffee machine this weekend for my K-Cups.
Right.
I did not buy a Keurig brand because my last Keurig broke.
Yeah.
I mean,
I needed a holdover, right? So I bought a very inexpensive Walmart edition.
What about those stupid
K-cup
rights-protected K-Cups? You got to worry about the ring being just right, or else it
never
doesn't
had
make
to
the
deal
coffee.
with that. No.
Oh,
I don't know,
consider yourself lucky.
Kind of ring you have to deal with.
Well, no, I'm saying if you didn't buy the Keurig brand one, they have like weird, like it's not copyright protection, but it's literally like to stop it from making. You're not allowed. Like it's
mine
dumb.
literally
I
says
hate it.
K-Cups on it.
Okay, because in the past I ran into that like back in.
Yeah.
It wasn't college because that wasn't a thing then, but after that. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, sorry.
But anyway,
continue.
so I was telling him about how I got Augie some hazelnut creamer.
Okay.
Because Augie loves putting creamer in his hot chocolate. Yeah. So we do a zero sugar. Normally I'm an Italian sweet cream kind of guy.
Italian
zero
sweet cream is good.
Zero sugar.
Yeah.
Augie, though, has been supercharging his Horton's hot chocolate thanks to Alex Dewar.
It's already sweet with hot chocolate, and he's adding creamer just to.
Yeah.
That's the way he likes. That's the way he likes to party, Dane.
Hot chocolate milk. Yeah.
So he gets hot chocolate going, and he's been using the Tim Hortons brand that Alex gave him. Yeah. He's loving it.
Thank you, Alex.
Loving it. But here's what he did the other day: Italian sweet cream, then scoop of Nutella.
Oh, actually, wow.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Putting that in there,
Really
mixing it up,
fancy.
going, this is the best.
Barista
And I
levels,
said,
yeah.
this is excessive.
Yeah.
I need to dose you for this.
Well, you would say that this is diabetes, right?
This is pure diabetes
But
right here.
he
But he
has-
has zero
but he-
sugar.
I was
But-
going to say,
but-
you
He
said
has
it's
zero
sugar-free?
He has
So the
sugar-free
fact
creamer.
that-
That's
okay.
just the creamer sugar.
Oh.
Zero sugar creamer. He's
Yeah,
still
I
got full
see.
fat, full flavor,
Okay.
hot chocolate.
Understood.
Tim Hortons hot chocolate, plus a scoop of Nutella in there.
Good Lord.
And that scoop is not manufactured recommended serving suggestions.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I bought him some hazelnut creamer yesterday.
Okay.
Brought that home, and I said, here, I got you a different
Seem
one.
effective.
He goes,
And if you like
Chocolate
Nutella.
hazelnut,
yeah. He goes, oh, this could be pretty good. And I go, I'm thinking in my head, hot chocolate. You're mixing it with the sugar-free hazelnut. You've got your own version of Nutella hot chocolate
Yeah.
for the boy.
Sure.
Tried it this morning, and he goes, it's not as chocolatey as I'd like.
The hazelnut creamer is very mellow.
But that's not, he said it's not as chocolatey as he likes it.
Yeah, it's hazelnut. It's not
So-
chocolate hazelnut.
Anyway, but then Dane brought up a point. He's never heard of putting creamer in hot chocolate. And that's like,
I hadn't because
That's
to me,
something that-
hot chocolate's already sugary enough. It doesn't need help.
oh, my wife's family, that's all they do. They have hot chocolate parties.
They just treat hot chocolate like
Thanksgiving
it's
and Christmas, and it's like you get your whipped cream, you get your sprinkles, you get your marshmallows, you get your creamer in there. You can mix all the different types of cream. You get the peppermint mocha, you can get all the different flavors of creamers. You start putting them in. You mix up quite the decadent drink.
To me, creamer always existed to help offset somewhat of the baseline that coffee has, because standard hot cocoa versus standard coffee's bitter on its own in many cases. I like black coffee, but not everybody does, which is what creamer exists. Creamer exists to get
does.
that standard issue
you're like Jack
coffee.
Reacher.
Jack Reacher, yeah.
Yeah, so creamer exists to get that standard issue coffee to a level that's maybe more along the lines of like somebody with a more sweet tooth palate. That
No,
would
that's
like
what
hot
the
cocoa.
sugar's. That's what sugar's for.
Yeah, but then you have the sugar, but then you have the creamer to get the flavor to go with the sugar to give you that thing that you want in your coffee, which you're drinking coffee because you want the effect of the coffee. Hot cocoa is not going to give you the effect, but hot cocoa is way sweeter. So coffee, you're enhancing it because the baseline thing is not it for a lot of people.
So I'm just going to stop everybody right now and just
I'm
say,
going down the
They
rabbit
went down
hole.
a very deep rabbit
just
hole.
say
That
in
was
general, right? Whenever I've ever had hot cocoa, right, my mouth feels unpure, right?
right. That's
it-
where the tongue scraper comes in.
Correct.
Yes.
That hot cocoa attaches itself
Oh my gosh,
to your
yes, the
tongue,
cream
right?
itself.
It's not even the cream. It's just like literally the amount of sugar typically within hot cocoa coats your mouth in a really unideal film.
Yeah.
Right.
And I don't like that, right?
No.
So what you're talking about is essentially combining more creamer, which is another unpure liquid, into that. So your mouth is essentially a walking...
Coated. It's well coated.
It's a bacteria like settlement is what that is. And it's just using that sugar, using the milk product, right? Or maybe
I was
a
gonna say, this is
non-dairy
coming
milk
from a
product,
lactose
right?
intolerant guy,
It's
so-
taking that and it's saying...
But I know the film that you're talking about
Yeah.
because when
Yeah.
you're sick
yeah.
and you've got a bunch of phlegm already,
like, coats
you
it,
don't
yeah.
want to drink anything with you don't want a milk product, you don't want ice cream, you don't want any of that because it almost overproduces the amount of phlegm.
Yeah, and it's just really gross. So the
is.
thought of everything that you're saying here sickens me. And I'm like
I bet if you brought this up to Katie, she'd be like, "Oh yeah,
like
we do that
if-
all the time."
If
Like,
I was,
that's a
if
great
anybody
idea.
was drinking this, I'd be passing out tongue scrapers to them. I say,
Yeah.
hey, you all need to use this. And anyway, that's just me. But
Yeah.
But back in the day when I was a kid, though, the hot cocoa thing, I was a double pouch hot cocoa person.
yeah.
Okay,
when
see,
I was
that's
a
different.
child.
I've heard of that.
Yeah.
What's it starts with an S?
Swiss Miss.
Swiss Miss. I
Yeah.
would be a
from
double
the Alps.
double pouch Swiss Miss person, right, with water, just because I didn't, lactose intolerant.
Yeah.
But I do the double pouch inside there. No added marshmallows or anything like that. But the thing is I would whisk it, right? I felt like a whisked Swiss Miss. You say that 10 times fast. That right there produced a better overall experience than typically of a normal spoon. And so even though it does mix well, it's like the same thing with Gordon Ramsay when he whisks his eggs with a fork fast,
But
right?
that's why I use a
That's what I use a
battery-operated
fork.
It
whisk.
makes it fluffier, right? You really got to get in there, right? You might have a little bit of
That's how you
spillage,
froth it.
but that's how you're going to be able to get a little bit of a layer of something on the top, right? Which is enjoyable. But anyways, besides that, I'm just saying that drink is unpure and not something that I would.
This extremely in-depth coffee and hot cocoa
Enjoy.
Yeah, just wanted
Brought
to.
you
We
by
started talking
our
about it. Needed to finish it off there.
imaginations.
So let's jump into some weekends.
Crazy weekends, a lot of fun.
Yeah,
a lot of
so,
great things going on.
I'm gonna have Levi jump in.
Yeah.
So Friday, I had no car.
No car. You
No
got
car
lots
to
of
detail.
cars.
No car to detail.
Wow.
And I thought, you know what? I should clean the MOSHQ.
Okay.
Should really get it tidied and organized and ready to rock and roll. Then I thought I should tint a car this weekend, practice.
Ooh.
Then I thought I don't have anywhere to cut tint. I need a folding table.
Uh-huh.
So I started my folding table search. Now, I have one saved on my Amazon wish list, and I almost ordered it. But it's like a 2-week delivery because it's very big. So I was like, So then I went to a number of stores to look for folding tables, and good God, are they expensive.
Oh, yeah.
We're talking almost $100 for a folding table, $80 to $100 from anywhere from a 6 to an 8-foot table. And I cannot abide spending that.
Have you thought of making your own?
My own folding table or my own table.
He just takes a wood, cracks in half, throws a piano hinge on it.
I don't know how
calls it a day.
capable you are of creating an actual folding table necessarily, but I think you are capable of making a table. Get a little
Correct.
a little plexiglass top, right?
Just
get
sawing
some
it in half.
wood and some wood screws. Zip that thing together. You'll be able to put something on it.
True, I would. But I thought, I really need to get this place cleaned up before I even do that. Then I thought, I don't have to do nothing this weekend, so I'm going to be lazy and just chill out. Okay. So I did that too. But no, we did we ran some errands this weekend. The biggest thing was that on Augie was, what am I saying? I forgot. I had lost my train of thought. Not Augie. Hadley has been asking for a piece of exercise equipment for quite a while.
The
What's
jump
that?
rope, perhaps?
No, she was like, I want a Peloton.
Whoa! Wow,
yeah.
she just went straight for the high
It's not
high
a
end.
bad thing that she would like to exercise. It's not a bad thing.
Not a bad thing, but it was one of those where we were like, oh, well, those are quite expensive. She goes, I could just ride it and watch TV, and then I could just be riding a bike. Because she's busy like that, right? In her brain, she's like, I could do that. I can handle that. She likes sitting and watching TV, but she also wants to, get some movement and some exercise. So she spent Saturday riding bikes with her friend. They actually went and did stuff and rode their bikes. And Carly's sister called and said, I heard, I got this exercise bike if you guys want it.
Oh.
And I said, oh. And Carly goes, it's like a Peloton. I did not know it was a Nordic Track.
Nordic Track. I
S15.
remember those from the 80s and 90s.
This is a last, like,
This
they
is
got
a
it like
recent one,
2
though.
years ago.
Nice.
Yeah.
So it's a Nordic Track S15 robotic. So it goes up and down, and it raises and lowers for incline and decline. So if you're climbing a hill, it goes up.
Yeah.
Adds resistance, declines, got the monitor and everything. Sign up for the iFit,
Yeah.
all that. So Sunday afternoon, warmed up the red truck. Mm-hmm. It's been freshly washed because I spent the weekend washing all my vehicles.
How's that registration looking?
That's not registered.
Oh, okay.
So went to go pick it up on Sunday night. Told Hadley, I go, you want to come with me?
Yeah.
I'll go pick up something. She goes, what are we going to go get? I said, we got to go to Aunt Heather. She's got a surprise for you. She's like, oh, all right. Hops in, roll the windows down on the truck,
Yeah.
cruise along the mesa.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It was a beautiful night because the storm was coming in.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So we're rumbling along in the pickup. Hadley goes, I'm going to put on my music. I said, okay. mind you, we each have an earbud in, and
Okay.
she's playing on my phone, pulling up
Right, because
songs.
the truck stereo
Because the truck stereo still doesn't work.
Okay.
So she puts on a little Yellow Wolf,
Ooh.
Okay. Yeah.
and she picks a song, and I'm like, this is a nice evening. She's got the window down. She's got her arm out.
Oh.
We're listening to some Yellow Wolf.
Yeah.
Cruising down
Your daughter that
on the
you
Mesa.
once held that was only this small.
This
right?
big. She's 12 years old.
12 years
Picking
old.
her own
Listening
songs.
to
Shotgun.
Yellow Wolf.
Yeah, riding shotgun.
Yeah.
And we get to my sister-in-law's, and she's like, walks up. She's like, I heard you got a surprise for me. And Heather goes, what? Yeah, it's right over there, and points at it. And Hadley goes, oh my gosh, like, because it's a exercise bike with a TV on it.
She doesn't care if it's
She's just
actually
like-
a Peloton or not.
She's like, oh,
Yeah.
and like goes and hops on it and starts. Sucker's heavy.
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
yeah,
they
those
weigh
things
an
are
ungodly amount.
So we get that lifted. I get it in the
Awkward
back
to
of the
carry.
truck. We lay it on its side. I'm able to roll the tonneau cover over it to protect it from any rain.
Yeah, of course.
Carly and I then get it. I get it back home right before the rain. I mean, it's starting to get windy. That storm's
Yeah.
coming. We get it in and placed. I plug it in, and I spend the rest of the evening creating an account
Okay.
for iFit so that we can use the screen.
Yeah, that way you
And
can track all your new high scores.
Yeah, I tightened everything up. Hadley hopped on. She was in her pajamas and flip flops by then, and she was riding. She sat on the
Flip-flops are a
thing
little
and
tough on those.
she went and wrote. She was happy as a clam, and I said, "All right, perfect.
great.
That's all we needed." So, it was super nice of them to do that. And Hadley was like, this morning when I left, she was in her pajamas. I go, "How many laps have you done?" And she found the manual start, which is just like pretending you're going around a racetrack.
Okay, yeah.
And it tracks your progress as you pedal. And so she's like, "I've already done 2 laps." I'm like,
All right.
Nice.
good. Have fun with that.
I'm not
So,
stopping you. Go for it.
Yeah, it was pretty rad. Augie can just barely fit on it, so he's on there trying his best.
Lower the seat a little.
No, it's all the way down, and he still can't touch the pedals. So, but it was good. So it was a nice, fun little idea for her to have that, to be able to do that. I did a dump run
Oh, okay.
with Augie this weekend. Went up to the dump, and Augie was amazed that there was over 300 seagulls and only 8 ravens.
There's always a lot of seagulls up there.
He goes, "How come there's only 8 ravens?" He's poking his head out of the sunroof.
He's counting.
Yeah,
He's
checking
making
on them.
sure.
But that was it. It was the most basic, simple weekend. Did some walks in the evening. Just took it very easy. Sunday, Carly and I went out for a drive.
Yeah.
And my mother-in-law took the kids, so we had a good little drive. And then, came home, and that was the weekend. It wasn't
was it.
anything crazy. But then I thought, dang it, I didn't even get my garage clean. So I do have a list of things I do need to fix on the house.
Sure.
I hung some lights also in the Jarl's hangout.
Okay.
So I've got some nice lights that I did get hung up, but I still got like little things like I need to change out my faucet, my kitchen faucet. I need to climb under the house and shut the water off so I can pull the mixer from the shower in the first bathroom because it's leaking. I have some walls that need a little touch-up paint.
Sure.
So I've got myself quite the list of things that I got to get done first before I can really tackle the garage. So I've got to jump on that and get
get
those
you.
things done.
Yeah.
But it was nice weekend to just chill out. But I had a neighbor show up, booked me out for the next 3 weeks.
Oh,
3
wow.
weeks from one neighbor?
Yeah,
They got a lot of cars or something?
yeah, he's got 3 cars.
Okay.
Yeah.
But he came by and he goes, "Hey, I was talking to the other neighbor, just bought this car. I wanted to get it detailed. I just told him I was going to get it detailed." He goes, "You just take it over there. That guy does it." So I came and knocked on your door and heard you get detail.
Word of
Like,
mouth.
Yeah. And I said, "Yeah, okay, cool. That's all. Yeah, man." So we sat and talked, and he owns a trucking company, and
Okay.
so he just wanted to get some cars detailed. He's like, "I'll just every weekend, dude, just come grab it."
And it's a
Like,
new vehicle, so the damage
One's
is probably minimal.
a Kia Soul, one's an older 300
Okay.
that needs like headlights done and some other stuff.
yeah.
It looks like it had plasti dip on the wheels at one time.
Okay, so somebody's project.
It was
at
pretty
one time.
rough. It's his girlfriend's car or whatever,
Okay.
and so he goes, she wanted to get rid of this, so they're selling. They bought the new Soul for her, and then he wanted to get his truck done. So
From a Chrysler 300 to a Soul. That's a interesting transition.
So But yeah, so anyway, that was my weekend. So kind of worked out pretty decently.
Yeah.
It wasn't a bad weekend
didn't
at
even
all.
have to
It was
really
great.
leave home.
Didn't have to leave home hardly at all, and yeah, it was good stuff.
Okay.
So,
Well, cool.
all right, Dane, what'd you do?
All right. Well, it was actually a pretty good weekend, I must say. It was nice. One of the things that I made it a mission, at least for myself, was selling the Toyota Supra we've had in the studio for a
second,
very long period of time.
I just want to give you a little round of applause there, Dane.
Well, okay, that's just
I think
getting
that
right
is
to the end of it.
I think that is the fastest Dane has ever sold a car.
Oh yeah, no, I've never sold one of my own cars that fast. Spoiler alert, it's
from
sold.
the day that you put that for sale, like the big for sale sign on at the Hidden Springs car show, to this weekend.
I mean, if you want to count that,
we're talking
that's
2 weeks.
True.
Yeah.
Pretty dang good.
Normally
with
it's
no
2
advertising.
Yeah.
Okay,
Until
so
the night before. So
here's the thing. When that sign was on it at the car show, it was not listed online. Nobody online knew about it. The only people who knew about it were the people who either followed the rag company and paid close enough attention to realize we had a Supra and that it was for sale, or people who came to the show and saw the sign.
however, the Thunderbird you took to the car show
Right.
was listed at that time.
Yes.
And it still took you
Yes.
6 to 8 weeks to sell it.
Because classic cars like that, unless it's like a really
And the
desirable
guy
classic car,
threw in some COVID for free.
you're not. Yeah, thanks, guy. You're just not selling a car like that very quickly. Whereas the Supra is very interesting. A lot of the factors that made me want to choose it in the first place when we did get it, even though we didn't do anything with it, are things that helped when it came time to sell it. Okay, you say that. I'm the one who sold it. So
It did. You sold it very quickly. It was nice. You had how many people reached out? 37?
Though I had an excess of 30 people in less than 24 hours contacting me about the car.
Which means we should have sold it for more.
What? Okay.
That
so
moment
these guys-
when those people reached out, you do a quick edit, bump that price up.
No, that is a
20
okay. I'm about to say some very
$20,000 now.
adult words, and
30,000.
I'm gonna stop right there.
We should have started it at 30 and then gone down.
I'm gonna put it this way: the entire time we had that car, these guys made fun. You'll never sell it for that much. It's not.
No,
You're
we
asking
always
too
said
much. It's not.
we
gonna.
always said you
Okay,
have to get a
Levi,
minimum of 16 on it.
No, I said that. Levi
always
Levi
said
didn't
16.
make any mean comments, but I got it from Jimmy, I got it from Anthony, I got it from Gabe, I got it from Nick, I got it from everybody. Like, God, Dane, you're asking a lot for that thing. It's a used car, man. It's just it's an
I
old
think
Supra.
they
It's
were-
not a Mark
I think
IV.
they were
People don't
messing
want it.
with you.
Yeah, well,
most
you
of us
know
are
what?
probably messing with you.
I take it literally because when I'm given those things, I'm like, I know what the market is supposed to be on this thing, and there's a giant valley between the bad examples and then the very rare, hard to find example that's not completely thrashed.
Correct. No, it's a beautiful example.
There's a huge just dead divide between the good ones and the bad ones. I can find bad ones all day long of a Mark III Supra, like an 87 or something, listed on Craigslist for like $5 or $6 grand, and even then, that's asking too much for some of those. But you get the Mark III here. It's well cared for. The reason we got it was there was an alternator issue. That was fixed. We put a new alternator in it, did a number of other little things to make it nice. And you know what? Somebody actually jumped on it. I had multiple people competing for a spot this weekend just to get a hold of it. And I was originally not going to have more people come over because I had to get to a car show, as you'll hear later. But for some reason, I just decided, okay, this one guy's being kind of persistent, kind of pushy. He's like the seventh person that day. But he was saying, I'll show up, check in hand. I'll buy it sight unseen. I don't want to miss out on this opportunity. And of course, I'd be stupid to say no at that point. I had a little bit of time, so I'm like, okay, fine. I already had somebody come and look at it, but they were going to be my only people that day. And then I was going to open it up on Sunday, right, for people to come and look at the car. But in this case, I was like, okay, this guy's very, adamant. He really, really doesn't want to miss out on this. So, okay, fine. Come and look at it. I made him, verify he had a check from a local bank that's known, that kind of stuff, like all that. He showed up, check in hand, full asking amount, all that stuff. Didn't futz about. He just said, yeah, I want it. Like, great. And I walked him through. I pointed out the little flaws, quirks, all that stuff, just enough so that, you feel like you're getting what, you expect. Because I told him, I was like, don't buy a sight unseen. You need to come and look at it. You need to experience it because I would hate.
Well, Dane is all about providing a great customer service when buying a car from Dane's All Day Motors.
Because I'm going to freaking tell you. So when you get a car from me, you'll actually know the history of the car. I'm not going to sit there and hide facts from you. I'm not going to hide if there's a flaw with it, because you know what? My number one terror when it comes to this kind of stuff is you sell somebody a car that you know has a problem, and that person goes, hey, so I'm experiencing this issue. You just sold it to me. And then a bunch of people who are used to selling cars say, well, you sold it as is. It's not your problem anymore. It's
that's what you
I
say.
don't want that bad karma on my soul.
They can't do anything.
I don't want that bad juju. I don't want any of that stuff.
When
so
you write it down
I
as
will
is,
just lay it out.
Vehicle
and I will let people know, if you buy a car from me, you will absolutely get what I say you're going to get. So that's it.
I think, Dane, you just got to learn not to care.
Come on down to Dane's All Day Motors, because you're going to get what I want you to get.
You want to know why you need to probably learn not to care? Is because you could spend 2 weeks getting this car ready for sale, detailing it to perfection, letting this person know every single thing that it has on it, walking him through every single little button and switch for 3 hours, 4 hours, popping the engine bay, making sure everything is understood in there, talking about all the modifications, things that it may need in the future, things that you recommend, and then you'll sell it. And then you know what happens after that? That person takes that car and T-bones another car with it and completely totals it, and everything and all of the time that you wasted and all of the care and thought you put into
it
smash
that
doesn't matter at all.
Can you tell that Anthony is hurting right now?
I know that's a super specific story, but
it doesn't happen to everybody.
But it happens. I mean, obviously.
So here are some key factors that I think helped sell the Subaru. God, my brain.
You spent so much time on that car.
Sold the Supra for full asking, which I feel was a very fair price.
I'm proud of you.
The reason I didn't ask more, and I told everybody this, I thought the price was fair because if it was a manual, I would have asked closer to 20.
No, it would have been worth double, and we would have put it on Bring a Trailer. If it was a manual, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
If it was a manual,
it would have gone on Bring a Trailer.
It would not have been just a simple Craigslist sale. But because it was an automatic, yes, that limits the audience a bit for this particular car. However, it's a great cruiser. But all the other parts of it were in such good shape. The actual electronic suspension, everything worked, which are rare things in this day and age that still work. But point was, the guy was getting a great car. And for the price, he felt it was very fair. And what told me in that instant that I knew he was going to buy it then and there, other than the obvious fact he already had the check and stuff, was he's like, yeah, just earlier this week I bought my son a classic Porsche 944S convertible, and then he shows me and the thing was worth about $40,000. I'm like, oh, okay, you're not in a tough place. You just get what you want. Okay. And the fact it was a 944 kind of matches aesthetically like these cars and stuff.
So if it would have gone for 20, he still would have bought it.
So he would have been the rare person who probably still would have gone for it. But he mentioned he thought the price was fair. He didn't think it was low. He didn't think it was high. He just thought it was fair, which I agree with. And you guys were just wanting to get the car out of the studio.
Just wanted to get it out of here.
Nobody else helped me write that listing. I just wrote the listing.
I read the listing.
Stuff.
It was beautiful.
Was it not a nice listing?
You did a great listing.
I thought I made a nice,
I thought it was very nice.
Listing.
Very. I heard your voice in it, which is a big thing.
Yeah. Normally people complain my listings are too long. I thought I got this one just right.
I was reading it, and it was like you were reading it to me. So
thank you.
I just want to get this question out before anybody doesn't want to stick around. Lucas saying, can R2R soak the reverse the effects of the forbidden dryer sheet in your microfiber? And that's off of Claire Bear's same question. So possibly. Here's the problem. You put those, when they get into the dryer sheet, that dryer sheet coats the towel. It literally acts like a ski glove over your hand.
Yeah.
So your microfiber without the fabric softener is just your skin, your hand, your fingers. Try and put two bolts together. Try and open a package of chips. If you have ski gloves on, you can still try and do that, but you're very less dexterous. So soaking R2R could help 24 to 48 hours. Will it fully fix that? I do not know for a fact, because the microfiber, there's so many millions of fibers, there is potential that there will have still that dryer sheet fabric softener stuck to some of those fibers. So possibly soak them. Yes, it's not going to hurt them. Maybe soak them longer than overnight, maybe a full 24 hours. to really get that in, and then wash them a couple times in the wash before. That's all. Just wanted to get that out.
Yeah, no,
so
that's good points. And yeah, so if you guys have questions like that, I highly recommend, if you haven't checked out Q&A Thursdays before, that's where we answer detailing questions. We may answer like one or two here, but this is really more about just kind of catching up for the week. So
exactly.
all detailing related questions, the big stuff, save that for Q&A Thursday. Coming up on Thursday, don't worry, we'll get it and more. So save them up and give them then. We'll be happy to help you out.
There you go.
All right. So apart from that, another thing I did was I fixed up the flex a little bit. I was doing a little more stuff. Little.
Did you put some portholes on the side? 6 portholes, 3 on each side.
Not the Pep Boy portholes. That way they know you got 6 cylinders.
Yeah.
But if you do 4 on each side, then you got 8. But anyway, sorry, it's not a Buick. No, I recently lowered it, so I got that. I got the wheels powder coated black, so now it looks consistent. Threw some nice PSS on the sidewalls, so it kind of cleaned it up, made them match the wheels and tires look a little closer together, because before they were looking a little, brown and stuff, so I needed to clean them up first. But anyway, did that. Put a shorty radio antenna on there, because I'm going to be installing a spoiler on the back hatch. Yeah. It's not going on there yet, because I need to get it painted, but once I do, it would make contact with the old antenna, so I had to put on a stubby. Then, in addition to that...
Has it changed your radio waves?
I don't use the radio, so I don't really care. Aesthetically, I just wanted to make sure something was there. But, no. Other than that, got little visors added in. I normally hate those, but I like these in-channel ones.
Moon visor that goes all the way across the front, the old Lund.
like a 90s GMT 400 Chevy Silverado.
Yeah, that would look pretty nice on that.
That would be cool with the lights running across it. Yeah, I don't have that. But I do have the blackout taillights, and I just added the new blackout panel on the rear, which came out of a junkyard, so it's all scratched up. It needs some help. But I'm going to get that painted. I'm going to fix up the little bits of it. And then I'll have like the complete black and white look that I wanted on the thing, which I'm really excited about.
Yeah.
I debadged it yesterday, so we got that
nice.
too. The reason, though, that I had to change that panel, the main reason, was because my backup camera on the Flex glitched back in the winter.
Yeah.
And it flipped itself upside down. Apparently... this is a very common thing, and I just didn't know it. I looked online, and there are whole, threads on forums dedicated to people going, my camera flipped over. What's going on? It says there's no signal. Apparently, when it gets too hot or too cold on the OEM camera, it just goes, bzz, I don't know what to do. And then the signal comes back, and it's flipped upside down. Something in the electronics makes it up, but it's reliably. It always flips upside down.
Yeah.
So weird. So
how to flip it back.
So you could just turn it over, but the way the thing fits in there, it's deliberately designed not to rotate.
It doesn't really fit anymore.
So I couldn't do that. But I bought a new camera, not OEM. Apparently I looked online and people said this other one is actually a little more durable than the OEM one, which is usually not the case. I'll take their word for it, but the camera was only like $100. It could have been worse. The dealership wanted $900 to do this job, and I'm like, no.
Yeah.
So when I started trying to take the panel off, I started to understand why they wanted so much money, though. Those clips are the most annoying to try and get undone. Take this whole thing off. There's about 20 of them, and there's 3 bolts and stuff. It's a lot of little finicky stuff, and it's so wedged in tight that you have to get it with needle nose pliers and just hope you don't slice your hand open on the metal while you're trying to do it. Anyway, took me a few hours, longer than most people, but I got it done, and I got it on there. And the camera is higher res than the old one, so I'm happy with it.
Nice.
But got that going, so I'm pretty excited about it.
You also met a friend.
Yeah, so that was funny. Was that yesterday?
Yeah, it was yesterday.
So when you got it going, did you get the camera replaced?
Yeah, I swapped the camera out.
He says it's got a higher resolution now.
It's a higher resolution now.
But it's your same camera, is your same stereo setup on your car.
Yes.
Everything is exactly the same. All I did was unplug the existing camera from the connector in the rear hatch after I took that finish panel off.
Easy.
And it's not, trust me. Then I swapped in the new camera. That's all I had to do there.
Oh my God, it's such an easy job.
The easy part is swapping the camera. The hard part is getting the damn panel off.
Dane, I'm a master at removing panels.
Me too.
And I usually have a plethora of pop clips.
All I'm saying
ready to
is
rock and roll to replace the things I've
don't
broken.
get cocky. Somebody who's done this before,
I just
there's
went to the
probably not in the
junkyard the other
audience.
day and pulled a panel for a solution finish, and it was just pop, pop, and then I just ripped it off. I didn't have damaged any clips because the clips are integrated.
That's the beauty of not caring.
Nice.
But in this case, these clips, I needed to preserve them. So I had to go in and pinch each one with needle nose pliers and make sure that all 20 plus of them came out carefully.
Should have just snapped them all off and then gone and gotten yourself a box of clips.
It's true.
Sure. Anyway, did that, and then because this is what happens. I mean, Glenn makes fun of me for driving a mommy mobile with the Flex, but I think the Flex is probably something that dads think looks cool because it's not an Explorer and it's not an Edge. Those are for somebody else who just wants a general
Some
SUV
dads.
or something. But, somebody who's like more in my shoes and wants something a little more stylish, I want the box on wheels. I want the refrigerator, man. I love my Element. And that was a great car. But here, I wanted to have a box on wheels with a little more wheelbase, a little bit longer. So now I have a, kind of a squared off Range Rover-y looking thing, two-tone, black and white, and I like it.
Sure.
I like it a lot. Okay.
Looks like a Range Rover. Just like
I call
your
it the
Jag
Strange
looks like
Rover.
a Mustang.
Here, after about a year, right, Dane will...
Well, he's already started modifying, so the clock is now ticking.
The clock's now ticking, yeah. So after about a year, Dane will say, this has been a fun car, but I think I'm looking for a pickup.
Yeah.
I think I need something with a bed in it.
Toyota Tacoma.
So he's going to go lease a...
Oh, God, we are
He's
not
going to go
doing
lease
that.
a new Toyota Tacoma. And then after he gets the Tacoma...
He's gonna find a well-loved, like, what's the hot rod version of the Sport Track? There was like
They
a
put a
Tremor
V8
version
one, yeah.
of the, and he's like, but guys, I got this version of the Sport Track.
It's the one that had like
And
the
it's the
cladding on
flared
the lower part.
fenders.
It had the flared fenders.
Yeah.
All that. Honestly,
Came with factory 20s.
I'm not going to lie. There was a time where I did think those looked cool.
That's what I'm
No,
saying.
he's
That's what you're gonna
he's
buy
go get
next.
One of
But
those
I'm not
Chevy,
buying
he's gonna get one of
that.
those Chevy HRR, HHR,
SSRs?
SSRs. That's what he's gonna go.
HHR is the PT Cruiser.
Okay,
He's
sorry.
Gonna get he's gonna get the SS.
he's gonna get-
SSR is the convertible pickup
Yeah,
truck.
and he's
with
gonna
the
go. Well,
LS2.
it's got the convertible, but it's also got the power,
Yeah.
and this makes sense for my lifestyle.
It doesn't make sense for any life.
It's like a Miata, only bigger.
Yeah, and way heavier, which defeats the purpose of the Miata-ness. Anyway, so that's what I was doing. But basically, ended up with a guy apparently saw my Flex, even though we're all working over here. There's no door open over there. He must have grabbed Bryant because Bryant was like walking around out there or something. Bryant comes in, hey, Dane, just, I know this is going to sound weird. Somebody wants to talk to you about your car. And I'm like,
Yeah, could be
What
probably
did I- and
because
I'm-
you cut him off.
I'm like,
the drive over.
What's this going to be about?
Yeah.
I'm like, I drove the Flex today. Oh, okay. He's like, yeah, your Flex. Just walk out by your car. You'll see him out there. He came over in a Flex. I'm like, oh, he came over in a Flex. Oh, I know what's
Fellow
about to
Flex
happen.
offender.
A
So
fellow
yeah,
Flex
the Flex
offender.
offenders
Yeah.
on the Flex offender registry.
The Flex Offenders Anonymous. Yeah.
He's looking for flex offenders in your area,
Yeah.
in your neighborhood.
A little flexual healing. Okay, so anyway, head out around the door, and sure enough, there's this guy, and I don't know how to describe it. He wasn't a weird-looking guy, but he looked exactly how I'd expect.
He looked
somebody
like
to
the
be
guy who bought
enthusiastic
your
for
van.
Flex.
That's
Yeah,
what he looked like.
yeah,
At first,
kinda.
I thought it was the guy who bought your van.
No.
As I was like, oh, this guy looks exactly like the guy who bought Dane's van. What? He's got a Flex too. I think he's stalking you.
I was going to say, the guy who bought my van looked like he lived in a Patagonia or something.
So did that guy.
Yeah, a little bit. So anyway, this guy had a couple of really cute red healers in the back.
Yeah,
Anthony
I
was
saw them.
petting
They're
him
very
while we
cute.
talked to him, which, then I related to because I got a great Pyrenees red healer at home. But anyway, looked at it, saw he had some sweet wheels on that thing. I was like, oh, that looks pretty good. Okay, but he was asking me a bunch of questions about the aesthetics, and I'm sitting here going, wow, for as much as Glenn makes fun of me for having this, I
Would've
bet you'd be
thought.
real mad to know that somebody was actually interested in my car.
Yeah, I can't wait till you have a line of little rubber duckies on your dashboard, so that when you
that's the
see
next step.
other Flex offenders, you can put a ducky on their thing and go, "You've been ducked."
You've been ducked.
And then we all develop a flex wave. And
yeah.
then,
Exactly.
Yeah, the whole
It's
thing.
like this.
Yeah, maybe careful how we use that arm. We don't want it to look like something else.
Yeah.
Anyway, point is,
Well, because you can't,
it's,
because the windshield's kind of flat, and you're not going to roll the window down because that's
Right.
weird. So
don't want to do
there's
that.
only so much movement.
But and then last night, the last step. This is me like unbreaking my Flex because there were certain things. The backup
Jailbreaked
camera,
it.
The backup camera was a problem.
nice.
Fix that. Now the rear hatch actuator, the motor arm that pushes it up and down, I replaced that, and now it works perfectly. Because before, you'd notice when I try and close it, it goes ink, ink, ink. It didn't want to go all the way. It would pretend like it hit something and then go back up. I know this is super exciting for you guys, but for me, this is a big accomplishment.
I just like when Dane works on his own vehicles.
I do too.
I get enjoyment when Dane works on his own vehicles. He
we're at that point.
chooses the right things to work on, though. He's very.
I hyper fixate on very specific things, but these were useful things. So a backup camera and a rear door actuator, yes, both useful.
There you go.
Anyway,
Anna G. Davis, not the first time Dane met a strange man with a station wagon involved. It was a great one. So Anna's got a question.
Yes.
Anna, we always recommend that the questions come to the Thursday show, but asking if you can use Defender over View. Yeah, you can. I don't see any problems with it. 2 coats with PNS Legend when topping with PNS Defender. Legend only needs 1 coat on the surface, and then I would wait about 24 hours before I put Defender on top of Legend. It doesn't need it. It doesn't need, you don't need to do it.
Doesn't need
so
it at
you
all.
could honestly wait till the first time you wash Legend
a
month later, and then put Defender on. There's no need to put that on top of Legend.
Yeah.
So
Thank you. And that wraps my part of the weekend, because the rest of my weekend more or less tied in with this guy. So, Anthony, go ahead, take it away. What happened this weekend? Fill in your part and then the shared part.
So some of you guys know I wasn't here for the Q&A Thursday.
Yeah, we know
yeah,
this.
Right?
yeah. We told people you were preparing your body.
I was shaving my entire body.
Yeah.
For the big
You
event.
also had to get. It was almost. The weird thing was Dane said it was almost like when you have to go get a colonoscopy. Like the products and things that you were using, and we said this is a car show.
Like Mocha Magnesia. What is he doing with all this stuff?
He wants to be.
Let alone that much, my guy.
He wanted to be pure.
Yeah.
Inside and out.
He's like, he bought 3 tubs of Vaseline. That's super strange.
Yeah.
So Thursday and Friday, I took the day off. I took those days off like months ago, because what my initial plan was, all right, I got a car show on June 24th, which is a Saturday. I want to get the cars all ready to rock and roll for that event and get them all cleaned up and stuff like that.
They're filthy. I mean, they're not
And-
even taken care of. So you have a ton of work ahead of you.
Well, in my head was, okay, so in my head I had this plan to where I was going to, those days, I was going to coat those cars or recoat those cars. Mainly because the Civic got paint work, right, almost 2 months ago. That would have been about the time where I'm like, okay, it's been enough time. I could probably recoat that. My RSX, same thing. I really wanted to go back through and recoat that and actually put on like a nice pro level coating. The car, the Civic has had CSL and EXO on it for over going on like 3 years now, or however long now. And it's still holding up in a lot of areas, but certain areas have been rubbed on by the body shop. Certain areas were polished by the body shop. My fenders needed love. So a lot of things needed love. And so I'm like, well, maybe I'll throw a nice pro coating on it, right? Whether I'm throwing Diamond Pro Tech on it, whether I'm throwing Legend on it, whether I'm throwing, another CSL EXO combo. I don't know. I just wanted to recoat everything and start fresh. So I set aside some time to be able to make that possible, and also try to knock out any other last things I need to do before this car show. And if you're wondering why this car show is important, is because me and the person that was coordinating it with Larry Miller Honda, me and him have been working on this for a couple months now, trying to get the plan in line, try to get, who's going to be there, what kind of cars are going to be there, where the cars are going to be staged, parked, and all that. And so I felt like I was a little bit more involved this year compared to last year. So I wanted to... You wanted
to have a good show.
I wanted everybody to have a good time. I wanted it to be worth it. So that was it. I just wanted people to be able to show up and say, yeah, I would do this again. So anyway, so what ended up happening was like on Thursday, this is even better. So Tuesday, I had told you guys the previous week I'd blown through the clear on my hood of my car.
The new fresh paint.
On the fresh paint from last October. Shallow spot in the clear, blew through it. Foam pad, nothing I could do. There was just nothing. There was no clear coat in that area. They cut it too hard. So I had taken it down to the body shop last Tuesday, and I had dropped off my hood. And he looked at it, and he goes, yeah, dude, we were probably chasing that dust nib right there, and we cut it a little bit too hard. Didn't leave you enough clear. It's on us. Not a big deal. I'm like, oh, well, cool, dude. Thank you very much, right? So we took the hood off. He just had the hood, and he's like, pick it up here in a couple days. So Thursday, I spent most of the day cleaning up the interiors of the cars, getting everything vacuumed out, getting everything kind of reprotected. I hadn't done that in forever, so I was like, I need to just do some cleaning. I did some engine bay detailing as well with steam, got everything all cleaned up to the best of my abilities, added some extra parts, some fancy stuff on some of the engine bays, and it looked really good. So Thursday was pretty successful. I felt like I got quite a bit done. Now, Friday, I started working on the same thing, right? More engine bay detailing, more exterior detailing. I actually repolished out the fenders on my Civic, which had gotten the bodywork done on the hood and the bumper. So when they leaned over the fenders, they put a bunch of scratches in it. Yeah. I mean, just a bunch of stuff. So I ran over those, and with just a foam pad, a little bit of last cut, I was able to pull out pretty much everything. And then recoated that, and recoated some other areas on the pillars and whatnot with just more, actually, sorry, not CSL, if I said that, XOV5 is what I ended up throwing back over the top of it. So XOV5, if you guys haven't used it, it's a very nice experience. It's very slick, very smooth. A lot of people will really like that stuff. So after I did that, I got the call from the body shop saying, hey, you can come pick up your hood, right? Mm-hmm. Now, keep in mind, he did me a huge favor, dude, by reshooting that hood, fixing that clear coat failure in 2 days. And he is busy. He's like 7 weeks, 9 weeks out. Yeah. And he's absolutely slammed.
I know, because I got an appointment with him I made like a month ago, and it's still 2 months away.
Yeah. He is ridiculously busy. And so the fact that he was able to just say, hey, dude, I'll fit you in, just it's easier when I give him a hood. That parking lot's very small. It's right next to Levi's sister-in-law's bakery, and
they share a parking lot.
That parking lot gives me so much anxiety that I don't want to be in that lot for more than a minute at a time. Mm-hmm. Because what you get is a lot of these old people who love bread who just pull into that parking lot.
They do, and the lines aren't
but
marked
they don't
well.
Look around.
The lines aren't very well marked.
Awareness.
They don't give a crap. All they want is their bakery bread or a sandwich or whatever it is, the cookies, and they'll take out any car that they need to that's in their way, right?
Yeah, there's some potholes in that parking lot.
Anthony and I would go there. Anthony and I would go there for lunch. We never pull in the parking lot. We park on the side of the road.
Park on the side. Always park on the side. Yeah. However, this body shop literally is next to this building, so you can't
go park on the side.
You have to park.
There is no other way.
Mm-hmm. So I show up, and funny enough, the guy with the Subaru that I did spend a lot of time detailing with that Subaru STI I did a big project on. He was actually there because he was being very nitpicky, and he was like, hey, my PPF is lifting here because my bumper fitment's off. So he was trying to sort that out with Dave, who's the shop owner of the body shop. But Dave's like, all right, dude, come grab your hood. Let's go and throw it on. And I said, all right, Dave, I'm really picky about hood fitment. I really want to get this spot on. He's like, don't worry. He's like, we'll get it spot on. I'm like, but panel gaps. I don't want to have uneven panel gaps. He's like, just calm down. We're gonna get this thing on. Talking. Just let us do the work. And I said, all right. So I'm watching him as they do it. The hood goes on. It's pretty overcast, but it looks really good, right? I'm like, all right. I'm pretty happy with that. Thanks, man. I really appreciate you going out of your way and doing all this. And I just thanked him again. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to head home safely because this hood is essentially so soft still that I don't want to get a rock chip or anything like that. No. So take a bunch of side roads, get back home, pull into the garage. I get out of my car, and I'm just like, okay, I made it one piece. I walk around to the front of my car, and I'm looking at my hood. And I'm going, and I literally rub my eyes like this. Like, I rub my eyes, I look, and I'm thinking, am I crazy right now? Or is this what I think I'm seeing? So
Flop was wrong.
I look at my hood, and he had either laid or something had happened. I had about double the amount of noticeable flake in that hood than anything else.
But it was a colored flake.
Correct. So that car is black, but it has a blue flake in it. It's Nighthawk Black Pearl. It's got a lot of blue in it. But when I looked at it, my fluorescent lights or my LED lights hitting the hood there, blue hood. Right? Crazy. My hood looks blue. And I'm like
behind me blue.
And I'm like, oh my, what the heck, right? So I'm looking at it, I'm like, no, I must be crazy. There has to be that much blue. Well, I look at all the other panels, and I'm like, I pull out the scan grips, I pull out my headlamps, I pull out everything, and I'm looking, I go, No. There is like either double or triple the amount of blue flake in this hood to where when that light hits it, it is just has this outward glow of blue. And I'm like, is this that noticeable? So I go and grab my wife. I say, hey, Katie, come out here and look at this. I want you to tell me, do you notice anything about this hood? So she walks out and she's looking. She's like, huh. She's like, yeah. Wow. I'm like, what? I'm like, what do you see? And she goes, yeah, no. She goes, this is blue. And I'm like, so, and I not that prompting her, and she goes, yeah, I'm really sensitive to colors, so like I can just see that, but that's a blue hood, and and the rest of your car's black. And I'm like, okay, that's pretty much all I need to know. So I took a bunch of video on my phone and photos. I'm like, can you see this in video and photos? And good God, it is even more.
It's more pronounced on the phone.
And so I'm freaking out because I have a car show, and literally the next day, and I'm like, my hood's blue. The rest of my car is black. This doesn't look right.
It's a beautiful blue.
I had this internal battle in my head.
You're like, I can't take this car now.
Do I call the body shop and let them know what's going on?
What you do is you run to the rag company and grab some black wrap and wrap your hood black.
Well, so I suddenly decided to wrap my hood carbon.
Carbon wrap on there.
So I was like having an internal battle because I'm like, obviously this is a problem. The body shop did me a huge favor doing this. I don't want to call and be like, hey, you screwed up the paint.
Colors
but
grateful.
like also and be ungrateful, but also Dave is really cool and he knows me and so he knows that this would be important to me. So I'm like, you know what? Screw it, dude. Otherwise I'm gonna be thinking about this all weekend. I need to just call him and let him know. So I call him and let him know. And he goes, what? That's so weird. He goes, I spot colored the areas that needed color, but I didn't necessarily recolor everything. And he goes, but then I doused it back in clear. So part of me is wondering if maybe the gun had extra flakes still left in it. Maybe when he was laying something else. Maybe I don't know. I don't know what the process
probably
would have
happened is he spot colored a couple spots.
Yeah.
And then he probably, when he laid the clear, because it's still so fresh, the clear is so bright.
Yeah.
And that's why you're getting a lot more refraction.
Yeah.
Because I used to see that. I used to get hoods and fenders and stuff painted, and we'd be installing them, and they would be very, very bright. Let them sit in the sun for a little while, and that clear starts to darken or dull out a little bit.
Yeah.
So
it looked insane, though.
So
who knows? So it hasn't happened, right?
Yeah, I know.
So
he probably added more blue flake.
So something happened to where, it is incredibly noticeable. So I freaked out about that for a little while, and I said, there's nothing I can do. I called him. I told him. He said, that's super strange. And I sent him photos and videos, and he goes, weird. He goes, all right, we'll figure something out, but I don't want you to talk to me for 24 hours. And I said, okay. He's like, stop ruining my day. He's like, all right, I'm sorry. He's like, we'll get it figured out. So that's another thing on my list of things I have to do. But he was really cool about it. So that'll have to get reshot, but there's nothing I could do. So the rest of that Friday, I was just trying to get my garage cleaned up and things like that because I was picking up a YouTuber. His name's Honda Pro Jason. Right, he's been doing this stuff for quite a few years. He's a Honda advocate, if you want to call him that, or I don't know what the correct verbiage would be, but he
so he advocates for people to buy Hondas.
Yes, technically,
like a salesman,
kind of like a salesman, but basically, he creates YouTube videos. He's been doing it for a long time. He was pretty much one of the first people to start making like Honda focused videos that were like actual, not necessarily vehicle reviews, but like, hey, here's a Honda. Here's how all the buttons work on it.
Okay.
So and so.
This?
Yeah. So that Friday night, it was really funny. So I called the dealership because they were paying for him to come out to the show, right? For him to make the appearance and do everything like that. They pay for the hotel. They pay for him to come to the show and do all that. And they said, hey, man, it would be really cool if you could go and pick him up and you could go and take him out to dinner tonight and just kind of hang out with him a little bit since everybody's so busy trying to get ready for the show. Sure. I said, okay, I got the day off. I got time. I have a blue hood. I'm going to try not to let that ruin my day. And, yeah, we'll figure this out. So I went to the dealership because both of my cars were cleaned at this point. I didn't want to drive them. And I was like, I don't want to get them dirty. So I'm just going to leave them for the show. I'll drive my Dodge Ram 1500 to go pick them up. dealership says you can't pick him up in a Dodge Ram 1500. And I
It's
said,
a Honda show.
I said, why not? It's a 2001 Dodge Ram 1500, the 5.23
right.
Teen Magnum.
You wanted to show them
This
what real
is
power
The most
was.
anti-Honda.
This is Idaho, is what this
Yeah,
is,
it's like
man.
a-
I mean,
it's
this
like a tow
is
rig.
This is it's my junkyard rig. And they go, dude, you got to pick him up on a Honda, like especially if he's gonna be filming or doing any reels or whatever like that. So I said, okay, well, what should I do? And they're like, just come to the dealership. We'll get you set up.
Oh.
So I go to the dealership, and Frank walks out and he goes, hey man, I got I got a surprise. He goes, here's these keys. He goes, it's for that Honda S2000 over there. And I go, what? And he goes, yeah, I want you to go pick him up in a Honda S2000. I'm like, that's super cool. I said, whose is this? He goes, oh, it's like a local guy. He just said that we could use his car to, that Jason could drive his car for the weekend. And I go, oh man, yeah, I don't feel comfortable driving somebody else's car that they loaned. That's just not something I.
Not the way you roll.
Not the way I don't feel comfortable doing that,
The
especially
liability.
something that's nice like this. And he goes, okay, I figured you would say that, but Jason is going to be driving this car for the weekend. That was the deal. So what other car do you want? He's like, I got a 2017-18 Civic Si. Do you want to take that? I said, sure. So they give me this car in red, and I drive down to the airport. Pretty fun car. I'm not gonna lie. They're pretty quick for what they are. And pick them up from the airport, and immediately we had to head straight to Big Judd's because Big Judd's closes at 8 p.m.
Kind of early.
What kind of burger place closes at 8 p.m.?
Especially-
A place that doesn't have a very big opening. They do a lot of takeout.
Insane. Insane. So
They're right next to a college campus, too.
I'm sure it'll change when that new building's finished and people are living there.
So I told Dane, I said, hey, man, do you want to meet us out here for dinner, right? Just
Sure.
because I've never met this guy before, and I always want to have
You didn't want to be
You need a
alone.
buffer. You need a wingman.
I need a buffer, but also I thought Dane is enough of a car nerd to where I'm like, if I can't keep the conversation going about nerdy car stuff, Dane can. So we all met at Big Judd's, and you know what? Jason's a pretty cool guy. He's energetic. He's pretty funny. He's obviously has a bunch of stories, but
There's an intensity about it.
he definitely has an intensity for sure. Like there is definitely something there. But we had a nice dinner. He got the Big Judd
Nice.
single, blew his mind seeing how big this
Colossal.
burger was. He was literally dying laughing. I was dying laughing just because
I
in
forgot.
comparison to him, it
How
is
big they are.
pretty
I think
massive.
I'm going to get one tonight just for now we're talking about it.
It sounds good to me to eat right now. So we had a good dinner, and then that was pretty much it for that night. And so I took him back home, or I took him back to the dealership to go pick up the S2000. He didn't know he was getting S2000, so he was extremely surprised and he was just pumped. And I was happy to be able to, I don't know, facilitate that experience.
Yeah.
So Saturday morning, I woke up, continue cleaning things, continue detailing things because I'm like, okay, I really want this to look good because my hood's blue. And then I really want this to look good because, I haven't polished the full thing. So I did all these things, and he ended up coming to the house Saturday morning, and I said, I'm going to take you to the junkyard. Right.
Oh, you
And-
had him with the junkyard.
Yep. And I'm going to allow you to, we can go film a video for something
Come hang out in the junkyard.
at the junkyard. So I took him into the Nampa junkyard. We checked out a bunch of
That's a good one
Hondas.
to take him to.
As I said,
We
that
got-
only works on some people, but I think this was the right case.
good.
here.
We got
Good
attacked
time.
by wasps. We got
Oh.
it was
get the
extremely hot
full
out there.
experience.
It was a full jalopy experience, but
Nampa in particular.
it was a good day. I mean, we went to the junkyard, did that. Right after that, we drove the truck back to my house, jumped in the S2000, and then I got to drive the S2000. At that point, I felt pretty comfortable because I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go take it to the Hidden Springs back road, and we'll go to Highlands Hollow. I feel pretty comfortable driving that. So drove it. S2000s, cool cars, not fast.
No,
if
no.
anybody's ever driven one, not quick. I don't know what I was expecting. I don't know if I was expecting it to be faster than what it was, but
It's about the lack of torque. That's what it is.
it's something. I don't know what it is, but
They're meant to be wound out.
yeah, and I did wind it out a couple times, but it was still pretty good though. So went to Highlands Hollow, had burgers there. That was awesome. And then from there, went back to my house, and I said, dude, I need to get ready. I need to prepare my body for the big show tonight, right? So
Oh, you still hadn't done that.
no. So
Yikes.
I take a shower, I get dressed. Gabe rolls up, and then Jimmy rolls up because Jimmy's going to be driving my red Civic. I'm going to drive the black car, my RSX. And then what was the funniest thing is everybody's sitting there in my driveway, right? And they go, yeah, we just passed in like an S2000 coming into the neighborhood. I go, what are you talking about? He goes, yeah, like there's an S2000 over there. And I could see an S2000 sitting
Honda Pro Jason
down the street. And I go, but wait, he left like an hour and a half ago. And they go, well, who else is that? And I go, I don't know. So I'm like, I'm going to call him. I go, yo, where are you at? And he goes, oh, hey, I'm just like right down the street from your house. And I go,
Why?
what? Why? I thought you were going back to the hotel. Oh, well, I just wanted to pull over and get some work done on my phone. And so I'm like, so you've been sitting in the car for like an hour and a half there? And he goes, well, yeah, but I'm not just sitting. I'm working. And I go, yeah, I know, but is the car running? Yeah, I got the car running.
Got the
Just
AC on.
idling in an S2000.
And I'm just sitting there like, if that was my car and you were idling
freak.
in that for an hour and a half, I'd probably lose my mind.
What was he doing there that he couldn't simply do in the air-conditioned comfort of a house?
I don't know.
Or a hotel room.
I think he
Or
just
a
thought.
hotel
I think
or
he's just one of those
anything
guys
else.
who's like,
Yeah.
I don't need to go back to the hotel. I'm just gonna hang
Yeah.
out. So came back to over the house. We hung out for a little bit, and before you know it, we were on the road. We were ready to go to the show. So show was awesome in a nutshell.
So you rolled Fast and Furious style. Dane
Squad up.
leading point.
I showed up
in the
afterwards.
flex.
yeah,
Gabe running secondary. Jimmy.
yeah.
Then you Honda Pro Jason bringing up the rear.
No, I was leading.
But you're
and
in the
then-
Dodge Ram 1500.
Yeah, no.
Following behind.
I was
Like The Rock.
leading, and then there was
Right.
Gabe, and then there was Jimmy, and then there's Jason kind of somewhere behind. But got to the dealership, and yeah, I mean, basically staged the cars, got everything set up, and it was really funny because I didn't know what to really expect with how many cars were going to be there. There was well over 200 something cars, which was pretty cool.
It was a good turnout.
There was a lot of people.
All Hondas?
I shook a lot of
A lot
hands,
of Hondas.
kissed a lot of babies. My cars got to be staged in the
Service center.
service center, which was
Yeah,
really cool.
service drive.
I didn't have to park in the back of the lot this year, which is crazy. And they had boba tea there. They were making up boba tea. They were making up tacos. They had just tons of Civic Type R's there, a bunch of older 90s era Hondas, or 90s era Hondas. And then they also had across the street at the Acura dealership, the Integra Type S that everybody can go and see.
very excited to see
which
that
is
in
really
person.
cool. And it was funny because it just got... it was kind of a blur to me. I got there and I said, all right, I got work to do. I got to go start saying hi to people, go walking around, get some shots and whatnot. And my parents showed up.
Oh, wow.
And they're like, we want to come support you. I'm like,
That's nice
I'm
of
like,
them.
thanks, Mom. And she's like, I'm very proud
This
of you.
is my
And-
son.
And I
That's
know.
like what
and-
my mom does.
I know. I'm just like, all right, Mom, I gotta get some stuff done. She's like, look at all these little cute Hondas everywhere.
Yeah, that's awesome.
She's like,
Love
there's
it.
these people are so proud of them.
So next year, a booth
parents,
with her getting hugs and autographs
Yeah.
from your mom.
my parents.
Anthony's mom.
My parents look at Honda the same way that people looked at Honda back in the 80s.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a cute
It was the little.
Yeah. Like gas
Cute.
saver.
Because
Yeah.
that's a time period when
the
their
little
opinions
cute-
about Hondas were formed.
Yeah, Japanese,
Yeah.
gas saving cars, right? Like that's cool. You got a little Honda. Those are cute cars, and that's how my parents still look at them all these years later. So like whenever they see my Hondas, they don't go, "Oh, that looks mean, Anthony," or "That
No.
looks aggressive with the bracing." They go, "Oh yeah, you still like the little Hondas," and I go,
Don't you love being fuel efficient?
"I'm like I do."
Low
So,
emissions.
Get yourself a real car, Anthony, like a Subaru Outback.
My mom's actually like, I really want one of those Honda Pilots. She's like, I think those Honda Pilots are so nice, and she's talking about that, or the CRVs, and so we ended up. I don't even know what ended up happening, but we ended up meeting a bunch of other people who'd come from Twin Falls, who'd come from Northern Idaho, Oregon. A couple people came from Utah. So the turnout was really good. There was chairs. People were definitely there just to hang out and have a good time. The only thing I noticed was that you kind of need things going on, right, in order to keep people around for a long period of time.
Activities.
Because some people will stop by and then they go, all right, well, I kind of saw it. I'm out of here, right?
Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
do need to have some type of activities to keep people wanting to hang out. But yes, 20, yeah, pretty much. I'm trying to think of what else was pretty significant or really exciting. I don't know. I jumped into a golf cart. I got to go drive around. My favorite part is I'm walking around and I see Dane, because Dane had showed up, right? And I said, Dane, what are you doing? He goes, oh, nothing. And I'm like, what are you drinking there? And Dane was drinking something.
You got a Bloody Mary.
Dane was drinking something, but it wasn't in like a traditional koozie. It was like a sock koozie. But it kind of just looked like a sock, right?
No, there's a whole story.
Like, is that one of your socks?
And I'm looking, and I see this sock, and I go, what are you doing? And he's like,
who needs a new koozie when you've got a drawer full of socks?
He's like, don't mind me.
I have to show you these things.
He's like, don't mind me. He's like, just drinking a beverage, soda. And I said, Dane, that's definitely not a soda.
I didn't say so. I just said it's a fine cold beverage.
Fine cold beverage. He goes, but at least I'm being discreet about it, unlike that guy. And then it's just Gabe with just a Modelo just out in the public just drinking. And I'm like,
I don't know if we're supposed to do that.
This is an event that you can just drink at like that, like publicly. Like if you had a flask, maybe.
Gabe's like, I got a cooler. What?
And then I look over and it's Dane's brother, Corey. And I'm like, and he's also sitting
he's
there.
got one
and he's
too.
also drinking. I'm like,
and now he figured out what's in my sock.
Yeah.
So, okay, for perspective, I thought I was going to be able to get, because we didn't really communicate on Saturday. I thought I was going to be able to get to your house while everyone was there.
Yeah.
And so on my way out to Meridian, I'm like, I'm going to pick up one of those styrofoam coolers. I'm going to get some ice.
Fill it with some drinks.
I'm going to get some Modelo Cheladas, and I'm going to get some Smart Waters. I'm going to throw those into the cooler, and then I'm going to roll up on Anthony's house. Well, on the way, I was like, but, the event, if they're kind of stingy, okay, maybe I should get some koozies. So I went to like a Maverick, and I'm like, do you guys have like beer koozies? And they're like, no, we don't have beer koozies. I'm like, I'll take one of these big wide brimmed hats. So I took a big America hat, like one of those like Larry Chen style, popping on your head things, which they all commented on. And I was like, okay, that's half of it. And the guy's like, you should try Fred Meyer. So I go to the Meridian Fred Meyer, and I run over there, and I'm like, okay, beer koozies. They got to have something. I'm looking in the camping section. And all this time, it's getting closer and closer to the show start. So I'm like,
yeah, you're running behind.
I'm missing these guys. This sucks. So eventually I found something. But the problem was the koozies I found, the only koozies in the entire store were wine koozies. And they were designed for glass bottles, and they were long, and they had like a little neck squinch at the top. And so I looked and I was like, well, these will fit multiple
10 pack
sizes.
of Gold Toes.
So I turned it upside down and I slipped it over the can, and I'm like, it's just going to have a little dangly part at the bottom. I'm not setting it down. So fine, I'm just going to drink it the way it is. And then I walked out with those. So that's the story of my socks that are actually like wine bottle koozies.
So I was wondering what the deal is. Like, whose socks are those that you're hiding the alcohol with?
Awesome.
It was my way of being subtle, but it was the least subtle thing.
Dude,
I'll show you after we're out.
Yeah. No, I was dying laughing. So, I don't know. Other than that, though, the car show, like I said, it went really good. The cars were staged well. The cars did look good. Not a lot of people noticed the blue hood, which was nice. But it just cracks me up, man, because these people, they go up to my cars and they're looking and they're pointing at things, and I'm constantly like, what are they pointing at? Like, what are they doing?
Yeah.
Because, like, I see them going to things on, like, my door and, like, pointing at things on my door. And I'm like, okay.
Hopefully they're pointing out how clean it is.
Yeah.
Well,
You would
I
think
guarantee
they're
you a lot
saying
of those
complimentary
cars are
things.
never that nice.
well, in my
Right.
head, I'm like,
those Honda
dude, I'm
cars.
like, yeah, there's dings on my car, there's scratches. So when people get too close to it and they be looking at it, I say, don't look too close. I'm like, it looks better from 10 feet away, right? Just trying to joke
Looks good
with
on
them. And I think
Instagram.
they were like, it was like shocking people, like, oh, no, I wasn't trying to
you put
touch
a
your
speaker
car.
on the car with sensors that does it for you.
Like, I don't know how to describe it. It's like people were being like, it looked like they were being nitpicky. I don't know if that was just my own like
I don't think they
insecurities
were,
being
because
like,
most people who would be nitpicky at a show like that, look at half the other cars that are parked just down the row. I'm just saying.
I will say that for what it's
Your
worth.
cars looked incredible by comparison to some that showed up.
Yeah, there was a lot.
And when I say
there.
some, I mean more than a few.
Yeah, but yeah, it was just kind of funny because I think that this is the first time that a lot of people have seen these cars in person,
Right.
in like either a year or they've never seen it before.
Right.
So a lot of people were really excited to go see them. I just didn't know what their reactions were going to be. Everybody was really positive about everything. I just didn't know if it was going to be the situation where it's like,
Yeah.
hey, I thought this was cleaner in person, which I don't think they would even say to me or anything like that. But it was
That's
good,
right,
though.
Carson.
The show eventually pretty much came to a close. We got rained out. A storm came in.
Right.
Just absolutely saturated everything. Everybody's like, all right, we're pretty much getting out of here. So we waited out the storm underneath the hangar there.
In the service center.
In the service center because my cars are dry. And I'm like, well, I'll just wait till the rain goes away and I can drive home. So we waited out for a little while longer. The guy, Frank,
Then I heard some revving.
The guy named Frank grabbed his V6 Mustang with a welded diff and started doing burnouts in
the
in
loudest V6 Mustang,
in the
New
parking
Edge
lot.
body style.
It was not pretty, but you know what? He had fun.
He was enjoying himself.
Yeah.
He enjoyed himself.
Was
we
it
did that.
Dave's Farm? That YouTube channel, that really old YouTube channel where a farmer would jump like old Luminas and stuff off of ramps in his farm. Like it sounded
Never
like
saw
that.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a thing.
But no, after everything was done, I realized, like, because Jason was like, hey, do you want to go back to your house? Do you want to go shoot anything? Do you want to go, like, do some more car stuff? And I was like, dude, I'm spent, man. The last 3 days, I've just been either detailing, cleaning. I've been out in the sun. We went top down in the S2000 earlier today, and I got absolutely, dude, I was a lobster. If you looked at me on that Saturday night, I was glowing red. And I was just run down. I'd been talking too much. I'd been just going too long. My allergies were horrible. And I'm like, dude, honestly, I think I'm just going to go back to the house. He's like, that's totally fine. So that's what we did. Jimmy drove the car back. I drove my car. We got back to the house, dropped everything off, went to a gas station, got myself a tall boy Modelo Chelada.
I offered
and
you
then
some,
I
and
took
you didn't
one of
take them, so
Dane's
Jimmy
other
did.
took one of other Dane's Cheladas. I grabbed myself a bag. I went to Jack in the Box, got myself a spicy chicken sandwich and a bag of flaming hot beef jerky. Right.
Enchiladas and
literally
and,
like
hot
a
food.
And
stomach.
yet he's afraid to have milk because he's lactose intolerant. What's that going to do to your
Horrible stomach combination, but it's just that's what I needed.
And some stale gummies,
Like I was
I bet.
just so broken at the end of the day.
I just needed to mess the rest of you up
I just
inside.
needed to just finish me. Right?
I need my
Just-
insides to feel like my
need to
outsides.
destroy my guts.
So I don't even know what I did. I think I sat on the couch. I watched some It's Always Sunny, whatever it was, and then Sunday I was on dad duty pretty much all day long. My wife had to go work on some rental property stuff for her dad. So she left in the morning. Did that. My parents eventually picked up my daughter, took her for just a little while, and so I was able to get some more stuff done around the house. Clean up the last bit of stuff, laundry and all that. And I'd gone through so many towels from all the detailing I'd done.
Mm-hmm.
I was just throwing things. You know, when you get to that point where you're like, I'll deal about that later.
Yeah.
I did that for like 4 days. And I was like, I had so many creature edgeless that I had ruined because they had fallen off things and landed into patches of sand and leaves and everything. It was horrible. So I ruined a lot of towels that week. So, but after that, picked her up, came back home.
That's exactly what happened, Alex.
And a weird movie recommendation. Sunday night, I was like, I need to watch something. I don't know what I want to watch. So I ended up watching this movie called Infinity Pool
I've heard about that.
on Hulu. I don't know if anybody's watched Infinity Pool on here. Weird movie, man. Not a bad movie.
Yeah.
Just a weird movie. And coming out of this weird haze of a weekend I was in where I'd close my eyes and I would see blue hoods, Michelada socks, and then I would see I don't know, other Michelada socks and all sorts of other things. I was like, maybe I'll watch this movie. So strange. I don't even know how to describe the Infinity Pool movie, but it's not a bad movie. It's not necessarily a good movie. It is a movie. You will probably be entertained. You'll probably wonder where it's going when you're watching it.
It's a vibe.
It's a vibe. Yeah. You would think it was an A24 film, but it's not. It was actually directed by somebody else who's also kind of a weirdo. Watch it.
Okay.
Watch it. Watch 30 minutes of it, and you'll be like, "This is the weirdest thing ever," and then you'll probably finish it. But anyway,
Joey, I'm done with
what I
Black
did.
Mirror.
Yeah.
Finished this newest season. It's very good.
Yeah. So that was pretty much my weekend, and it was really good. Glad it all worked out. I've been looking forward to this for months and months,
Right.
and I knew that it was going to be a good time. I don't know. And so now there's another car show this upcoming Saturday that I'm supposed to go to as well. But what's funny is I think after everything, I realized I don't really like car shows that much. Like, it's not really my favorite thing in the world. especially if my cars are at a car show for some reason. Like, there's people that live for that. Yeah. And they go, I gotta have my car at a car show.
They feed off of
they
the clout
They go,
and
what
the
do
energy
I need to do to get my car here at this car show?
Yeah.
I don't care about that. I don't know what it is. Like, I don't need to have my car at a car show. I enjoy walking through a car show. Like, I enjoy Sydney's car show.
Yeah.
I think it's mainly because the food and like
there's a lot of food trucks.
Once again, like you said, stuff going on. Sydney's car show, lots of stuff going on.
Like, I like that, but I think in general, going to like a normal traditional car show or just even a Cars and Coffee, I don't know. I don't think it's my favorite thing.
Yeah.
I'm not an antisocial person. I'm very social.
No, but I think it's the vibe. It's the vibe of the show itself.
Yeah.
It's because a lot of people can do the old man style where they just park at a car show, put out their lawn chairs,
folding chair
and chill out. Okay, that's cool. I can't do that.
Yeah,
I want to go wander around. I want to go look at other stuff. I want to be able to grab a snack. I want to talk to folks. That's what I want.
Yeah.
So the Hidden Springs car show brings that vibe. Yeah. The Father's Day car show the next day at the Capitol, beautiful setting.
Sure.
But not the same vibe.
Yeah. No, and for like
a
formalized car show, Sydney's car show is one of my favorites because of the environment that's created. But for the less formalized car show, I do like Cars and Coffee because sometimes you just get weird random stuff that shows up, which is totally my
But that's
bag.
what I like about the Hidden Springs car show is there is randomness.
Yeah,
and
I like not knowing what could be there. It could be something surprising. So that's part's fun. At a Honda show, I know exactly what's going to show up. Although I was excited in the back, they did have an NSX, of course, but they also had a Honda Beat, which I was super happy to see. Had the zebra print seats and everything.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I guess I used to really like going to the Cars and Coffee and doing that kind of stuff.
Just kind of
and then after a while I just go, I don't know. I don't really know what I like, but I like hanging out with like my friends. I like talking with people, but I think I like a smaller crowd. Like I would much rather meet up with 10 to 15 people that bring out their cars and we get to actually hang out, discuss, have a conversation with, just more of like a kickback rather than going to a full-blown car show.
The expectations are lower. You don't
I don't know what it is. But that's the thing. I'm not antisocial. I like talking to people.
Sure.
I think it's just if my car's at a show, half my brain's going what's going on with my car at the show.
Yeah.
And so, but then when I alleviate that and I'm just at a car show, I always look around and I go, I really like my car in comparison to a lot of these other cars.
Yeah.
I wish my car was here. Then I go, no, I don't. I don't wish my car was here at all.
Bring it.
Then it'd bother me. So then I go, well, what do I like? And I go, I like food at the Hidden Springs car show.
Hidden Springs car show. They had a Jag F Type.
Yeah.
They had a Jag F Type sitting in the grass.
Did they?
Yeah.
Bone stock.
Yeah.
Not a Type R, just a Jag.
It was a V6, yeah.
Yeah. But someone liked it enough.
Yeah.
To bring it to a car show for the day.
They did. V8 supercharged.
V6.
Jaguar.
That one was a V6 supercharged.
Nope, it was a V8. It was just like Dane's.
It was a V6 supercharged because it had the central
At first I thought
exhaust.
it was Dane's.
XKR.
Okay, so here's how it works with Jaguar F-Types. On the exhaust,
that's Dane's
if you have
car.
an exhaust that looks like a USB port, that's the Turbo 4 model, which they introduced later on, more like in 2019, 2020. But for the other ones, the V6 is the one with the dual pipes in the center. Then for the R, which is what I have, you have quad exhaust and they're out at the corners. There you go.
More
No, G. Davis and Alex would have liked this though because at the car show, Honda people in general, right?
Yeah.
Wide variety of Honda people.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
You have your Honda elitist people who have been in the game for 20, 30 years. They are all about the name brands. They're all about the highest end parts. They have spent a ton of money on their Hondas, but it's because they're at this particular level, right?
Sure.
A good example of that would be like David Patterson from O'Burke, right?
Yeah.
He is at that level of he's been in the Honda game for so long. He's experienced everything.
It's
right?
a car now.
He's familiar with
And he can do stuff to it.
His taste is very refined.
His taste is refined, right? Because it's what happens, right? If you grow up on crackers, right?
Yeah.
You're eventually
take-
going to know what a good cracker
But
is.
his S2000.
That's a weird analogy.
But like,
all right.
But if you got an S2000,
yeah.
the first thing in your mind is not to, we need to cut these fenders off and create a wide body, and I need to get these wheels and do all this modification and start doing all, like, he cut that car up.
Yeah.
That is not your first inclination.
No.
For him, he has the skill set, he has the ability to do some of this stuff, but he's been in Hondas so much that he's like, if I wanted another one, I'll just find another one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he can go crazy with it.
Yeah, he can do stuff like that. But I'm just saying there's certain people that are at that level of, hey, they've been in the game for so long, they just enjoy doing it.
Yeah.
Whereas there's other people there, right, who literally will do things the cheapest way they possibly can.
Yeah.
I mean, like, literally, some of the cars there are barely running.
We got some eBay whooshy boys under the hood.
Shouldn't even be
Turbo
running.
whistles on the
And then
back.
you have some other people there that are kind of that more modest, like, hey, I want to keep things stock. I like this just stock car. I don't want to modify it. I don't want to do anything to it.
Like Gabe.
Cool. I respect that as well.
Yeah, like Gabe.
And then there's other people there that who have maybe cleaner taste or want a little bit of modifications, but want to keep things nice and right. Not right.
Keep things right.
Keep things nice. And then you have the other people there, which are like, they have a Honda, but it's not the Honda they want, so they see the other Hondas that are there and they like admire those, right? Those are the people. There's a large variety of those. So my favorite was, I'm sitting there, I know exactly
what you're gonna say.
I just pull my cars up to the bays, right? This is before the car show even started, but there were some stragglers there, people that got there before the show started.
Get ready.
That were walking around.
They're out there wiping their cars down, getting them ready for the car show.
I don't even know if they brought a car, honestly, but they walk into the thing and they see me grabbing something out of my Civic and grabbing something out of my RSX, and I'm trying to just wipe down a few spot clean some things, and the lady walks up to me and goes, "Wow, this is finally a Honda that that fits me, right? I think this is my size." And I look over and she's a middle-aged woman, and I'm like, and I see her husband's there, and he's kind of like, "Yeah, no, I just hate what they're doing with the electric car industry," right? He goes, "They need to still be making them with power like this car right here." That like, it's just one of those people who doesn't really know what they're talking about.
Right.
Those electric cars have three times as much torque as your D series.
And you kind of wonder if
like
there's,
Alex says, #Emmett's best.
and you kind of wonder if there's a couple screws loose, right? And then he starts talking to me. He's like, "You see what they're doing with those Honda jet engines that they're doing in cars?" And I go, no, I don't. He goes, "Yeah, they're water powered. It's a jet, and
He's like mixing up hydrogen powered cars and the Honda jet,
and they're putting them into these little cars like that you have right here. They're putting them on these
turbine cars have existed as experiments for decades."
And he goes, they're making them rockets, and they're shooting them off at the track. And I go, "Are you? What do you?" I said,
"Now he's talking about Elon Musk compressed air thing."
I'm like,
that they
what are you talking about, right? But his wife is still making rounds around my car.
She's in love with your car.
And she goes, "Wow." She goes, I wonder if I could see over the steering wheel. What do you think? And I'm like, I don't know. And she goes, "Well, I mean, I could try, to sit and see it and see if I fit in this car." And I'm like, and I'm getting it. And she's wanting to sit in my car, right? And
she's just not coming out and saying it.
And I don't want her to sit in my car.
Right. So you're pretending you don't.
I don't even want them to touch my car. So I have to dance around the laughing and the just trying to be kind and being like, "Yeah, no, it's not that bad, but the seats, I kind of got them adjusted right now, and but yeah, maybe some
you're
other
not
time."
Test driving these.
And she goes, "Well, yeah," but she goes, "No, it's really nice." And she says, "Well, if I were to get a car like this, it would come like this." And I said,
No,
not at all." And she goes, "Oh, okay." And then the guy is still talking about the jet thing about in the back.
This is when you walk her over to Gabe's car and you go, "It would be more like this."
Talking about the jet thing, and I'm trying to talk to her to keep her away from my car. The dude's talking about the jet engines being shoved into Hondas, and I can't do that sometimes, right?
Davis Anthony has that woman's Hulu password.
And so, anyway, I think I pawned him off on somebody else, or I tried to "Hey, Frank has these T-shirts. Go check those out." And so I think they're like, "Oh, wow, are they free?" I don't think so, but you can go look at them.
Are you literally doing the jangling keys for a toddler?
Dane, it's a real thing, man. But anyways, that was like one of a few weird experiences, but that's the one I could probably talk about.
That's
so
great.
anyways, you just never know who you meet at car shows, but I guess that's a good example of what stresses me out about a car show, where I go, I don't really know if this is really my scene half the time.
You like the security of just posting a picture of your car online and having people heart it there because I can't actually touch it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it.
Yes.
That's it.
All right, so that's gonna wrap it up. Thanks. I know it's been a very long podcast, but I really appreciate everybody
I've
listening.
enjoyed this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, guys, if you haven't hit like on this video already, what are you doing? Please do so. Helps us out. Helps you out by helping us out. And also, if you're not subscribed to our major channels, we have the Rag Company FAQ, the Rag Company Podcast, and the Rag Company Main Channel, all of which could use your subscription if you haven't done so. And lastly, I'm going to go show these guys my super cool wine koozie thing.
Yeah, I'm excited.
So, we're going to go talk about
look at it.
beer socks. Anyway, have a great week, and we'll catch up with you on Q&A Thursday, where that's right, you ask your detailing questions. So until then, take care, bring your questions for Thursday, and we'll see you then.
See ya.
See ya.